following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
Welcome to Gate City Chronicles. I'm Kevin Avard, your host, and today we have some special guests from Harbor Homes. I want to introduce Michelle Kuhl and Matt Milbourne. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. So, Harbor Homes. What is Harbor Homes?
Harbor Homes is a lot of things, actually. It's hard to put into just one sentence. It's a very important organization in the community. So it encompasses a lot of different programs that are meant to be supportive within the community, and we specifically work with veterans.
Okay. So, from what I understand, veterans that are they currently in the military, or they're done?
The veterans that we're working with are facing homelessness, and they have been discharged. So we offer transitional housing, so it's supportive housing within the community in order to help those veterans become successful, obtain permanent housing while achieving goals and being able to move forward to provide a sense of achievement and success once they've completed our program.
Are you busy these days?
Very,
Right.
very. We have 60 veterans that we currently house in Nashua, and recently opened a transitional housing program in Manchester. We also have an emergency shelter for veterans in Nashua and more permanent housing in Claremont as well.
What's the emergency shelter like? You know, if anybody who's in Nashua who's gone to the mall, by the way, you know, you see these people with signs, and you know some of them are playing the system, and then there's some of them that are really hurting.
These are our proudest citizens,
Yeah.
and these are the people who are not going to ask for help,
Right.
which is a pretty interesting irony. These are people who have signed their lives over for us and our freedom.
Right.
They've written a check that had their life on it, and they don't expect any sort of compensation for that. And so reaching out to these people isn't as easy as finding them on the street asking for help. So a little bit different dynamic with regard to veterans who are incredibly proud and who are most deserved of our support.
Matt, you're a veteran.
Yes, sir.
And you served in the Gulf.
Yes, sir.
And thank you very much for your service. And you served on one of those things that go underneath the water.
Yes, I did 2 tours. It was on fleet ballistic missile submarines and fast attack submarines.
Right. And now, what is your role? Are you part of the program? Are you helping out with the program?
Actually, I have one of the most unique opportunities. You hear the phrase pay it forward all the time, and you're like, oh, there's a lot of hype and different definitions of it. 3 years ago, I was actually part of that demographic. I was a homeless veteran. When I reached out to find out information, there was none. If you'd asked me 3 years ago who Harbor Homes was, I've often kind of made a little bit of a joke. I thought they were guys that build houses. Had no idea.
Well, you know what? That's what I thought too. I really thought that's what it was like, a habitat or something, when you first mentioned it.
And through getting in contact with the Veterans Medical Center in Manchester, I was put in touch with what they call the Grant Per Diem program, and there wasn't any room for myself and some others at that time. But when our contract ran out in Manchester, they said, well, we'd like for you guys to go down to Nashua to Harbor Homes. And we said, okay. And so we were kind of like a little bit like the Beverly Hillbillies. We loaded up the truck and went on down to Nashua. And the best part of this whole thing, this lady right here was the first smiling face that I actually met 3 years ago. And now I have the honor of working for her and back in the fight, because chronic homelessness is not going to go away. We do our best to put a dent in it, but for every step forward, it's a few steps back. But we're more or less the sword point in New England, and we try to be the role model. When other people ask to try to do how to get these programs working, they come to us. I'm here to tell you that this program works. I was in the lowest point in my life. I used programs that were offered to me. I bettered myself. I went back to school. I got a professional degree. And then when I was offered a chance to come back and be a staff member in the program that I graduated from, I thought of no better way. And it's the reason I get up every day. And it's very rewarding. You try to be a beacon to show people that were in that situation that it's not hopeless. These programs do work, and it is work. It's not a handout, and it's not, well, somebody just writes me a check and I walk down there and life's all good. It's a lot of hard work by a lot of dedicated individuals, and you have to have a passion for this, because I'll be honest with you, like being in submarine service, it's not for everybody. It takes a special breed of person to put so much before themselves in this profession. And
Tell me a little bit why, when I look at veterans, they go through, their basic training or whatever type of, in the Navy, the Air Force, they go through special training, they learn special skills, they get out there, they learn how to become part of a team, they work that team, they come back. You would think that there's all kinds of opportunities. What is the cause for a lot of the homelessness? Is it depression? Is it PSD? What are some of the symptoms? Why do people?
It's a lot of those things. It's, if you think about yourself and your environment and you remove maybe some essential supports and add a traumatic situation and being in a foreign land and experiencing trauma that, we see on TV and we think that, it creates this emotion in us. And what if that were, right in front of us?
Right.
And I think that we tend to overestimate or want to just believe that people are not in pain, and that there isn't an accountability for people who defend our freedom.
Right.
And that there are not necessarily consequences, but essentially there's trauma that's there. And with the removal of, different supports, it makes it incredibly difficult for people to find that place independently. And so, being able to give back in this way is incredibly important, and it should be important to everybody in the community, especially this program. These are our sons, our daughters. These are people who have given everything and have come back to a situation, and they deserve an opportunity to be successful. With transitional housing, we're looking to help people within a certain time frame. So up to 24 months, someone has to be within the program. And once housing is established, then they're able to sort of take that deep breath and say, okay, now I've got to establish some goals. And so it's not just bringing somebody in and offering them shelter. We're doing a lot of work. We're planning everyone's discharge from the moment that they come in, identifying what it was that was difficult for them, how they were brought to this point, and what kind of barriers have they been up against in order that they have not been able to maintain housing. These are every single one of us.
Right.
With a support removed or a traumatic event in place. These are professionals. These are not people that you would maybe want to stigmatize or judge in a way that is removed from you so that we don't have to think about it. These are our sons and our daughters.
And fathers. And mothers.
Everybody. This
Right.
is, you look at your family member and these are the people that we house.
So when somebody comes to you, are they, you're seeing a broken spirit, somebody that's come to you and they need help. What is a typical thing that you do with them? And they just say, hey, look, I'm hurting. I'm homeless. I developed a drinking problem maybe, or I need help.
Well, one of the first things that we want to do is to be able to provide support and be a springboard. We're not there to kind of sit back and kick back. Mm-hmm. Ultimately, coming into the program means that somebody is committed to being a successful citizen in our community. And so we want to be able to provide them with resources and supports in order that they can get there, and when they're able to establish those and provide themselves with consistency and a way to achieve goals, then our job is done. Our best day is when somebody is ready to move on and be independent of us. And so ultimately just being that springboard and understanding that when someone comes in, being able to identify what those obstacles have been in their life and what kinds of things are we going to help them put in place in order that when they go out into the community, that they don't face this again.
What's the typical type of housing that you provide for them?
Well, the two that we have in Nashua, we have two buildings in Nashua. One is on Factory Street. It's called Delanus House, named after Griff Delanus. It is 40 units. Mainly men we have in that building, and another building we have right over by the post office on Spring Street. Mm-hmm. It's a 20-unit apartment style building, and it's one of the only places in New Hampshire that allows for families to stay together.
Is that at the top of the hill?
No, actually, it's right when you turn on the corner, right before the post office. There's a big building right on the right-hand side, before the courthouse and the post office, and we're right there. And that building is tremendously vital. It allows for families to stay connected. I can't tell you how many families I've had come in who have been separated because the shelter wouldn't allow for them to stay together.
Why?
Gender.
Oh, okay.
So some can only be women, even dependent on the children's age. They've had to be separated from their parents, and as if it's not traumatic enough to be in that situation, but then to be told that you can't be with your family. You need your family. You need to be able to create success with your family in that environment, and Harbor Homes, that kind of a building, is the only one in the state.
Matt, do you interact with a lot of the people in Harbor Homes as well? Are you,
Absolutely.
Yeah. What is your role? Do you help them assimilate?
I'm actually one of the case managers at Factory Street at Delanus House. I work with a client base of our homeless veterans and basically connecting them with services, monitor progress, offer suggestions. This is not so much our walk, but your walk, and what you need to do. We're kind of like the rock, the foundation that you're going to build your house on. And it's solid, it's safe, and it provides a lot of things that they didn't have. 3 years ago, I didn't have that rock.
Yeah.
And when I had it, when being former military, there's a few things that you have to do. One, you have to establish a base of operations. Second thing you have to, most important, is communication. Because without it, you're not going anywhere. But the thing I think you need to understand the most is, and this is so hard with like some of the older veterans, and all because of age and how things were instilled in them, you can't do this alone. Absolutely cannot. And I'll argue that point with anyone.
So there's a point. There's a safe place. There's some direction and a little bit of accountability, obviously, to help you move your life in a direction where you can transition back.
Yeah, it's important for people to acknowledge the trauma that they've gone through, but also recognize that their situation does not define them, and that the shame that they carry with regard to the things that they've lost, the home that they've lost, it's important to be able to move away from that and to say that you can be a successful member of this community. We want you to be, and we want you to be.
Speaking of success, what is your success ratio? Is there a number to that? Is there, you know, 1 out of 100, the 10 out of 100, the 50, 90?
That Harbor Homes has housed.
Yeah.
We've placed over 1,000 people into permanent housing. We have another organization within Harbor Homes that we work very closely with, HVRP, Homeless Veteran Reintegration Program. They've placed over 500 veterans into employment. And so it is,
How is all this funded? Is it privately funded? Is it state funded?
we
Federally funded?
rely heavily upon donations. It's so vital that the community recognize that we are here and that we're not building homes
Do you have
in the hammer and nail kind of sense,
Right.
that we are trying to build homes in a different way, and that it's so important that the community be involved. We're also
Are there businesses that support this that you can drop a name or anything, like any local businesses that? No?
I don't know.
I'm sure there will
not
be.
my area of expertise.
Okay.
There are several local. They actually developed a ending homelessness fund that they recently had their kickoff event. It's headed up by some very influential and powerful people. When I say powerful, in passion,
Yeah.
that we're going to end chronic homelessness in the greater Nashua area, and that's
Right.
a huge thing. At the last point in time count, I believe they said there was, one chronically homeless veteran left in our area. Now, if you go and look at the statistics, chronic homelessness is 11% across the board nationwide. Veterans did make up almost 8%. Now they've got it down to 4%. That is huge.
Wow. So this is a nationwide effort, obviously.
It absolutely is, and I just wanted to say that I do remember Fidelity is one of.
All right.
They
Well, I
do
just
a
want-
tremendous job
Super.
at giving, at providing donations, and BAE is
BAE.
actually named after the transitional housing that we have in Manchester.
We just want to thank your
Yes.
sponsors because the BAE and Fidelity, like you said, they're the heroes. They're
Tremendous.
and people like them, and I'm sure there are other businesses that would.
Absolutely.
Now,
and I
some-
feel bad that I don't remember.
Oh no! Well, I forget names on the show, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's something coming up. It's called Joey and Maria Comedy Italian Wedding. There's an event at the Crown Plaza.
Absolutely.
I believe that's June 6th.
So it's a great opportunity for people to go and be entertained while supporting such a tremendous organization. So you can go and be entertained right at the Crown. Plenty of time to plan for it. It's not until June.
And this has been going on for 20 years, I guess, or 20 events.
Absolutely.
This comedy thing.
Very interactive.
Right.
Dinner and a show.
Dinner and then, yeah, fine. And plus, that you're helping out some people that could really. And the thing is, it's a win-win for everybody. Obviously, when you reestablish people back into the community with I don't know I don't know the word that I can use, but people that have gone and served, they've got it already in their blood that they're going to serve. And what are, keep
And
them
I
in our
think
community.
it can be difficult for people in the community to feel like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
What should I do? And so when people are looking for direction, people want to be of help and of service to the community. And I think that if we're able to highlight something that is so important and an opportunity for somebody to do something, the impact that you can have is just tremendous.
Do you look for volunteers as well?
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What type of volunteers do you look for? Just
Someone who wants to volunteer.
Right.
It's
But what
at
are some
any
of the tasks?
capacity. Well, it depends on what they're willing to do, what they want to do. Some people, I say, if you're cleaning out, your house and you're buying yourself a new set of silverware and you've got some, call us. We're constant. We are in transition as much as our program is.
so if you get new pots and pans, you can give
Absolutely.
them to there, and they'll
We can always
clothes.
find
We get
something.
called on a pretty regular basis. People will say, "Well, my grandfather passed away, and he was a veteran, and he wanted this to go to another, as well as all these different things." And
Right.
then we distribute all the.
We rely heavily.
Yeah, and we distribute them, it all goes to a good purpose. And I think, like Michelle said, everybody wants to help with this because if we don't all get involved, it's not going to go away.
Right.
And we've made, like I said, we've made tremendous strides in this area. And like with this event and so many others, it gives you a chance. Because you might be sitting at home, you're going to watch this program, you're going to be like going, well, you know what? I've been wanting to do something and I didn't know what I wanted to do, but now I do.
Yeah.
And you can get on board with this program and it goes to a good cause.
Right.
This isn't something that you're going to see on 60 Minutes where we're a shell corporation and we've absconded with things. The lives we help, and I can tell you personally,
Yep.
it makes a difference. Because honestly, without Harbor Homes and the programs and graduating and doing the things that I've done and coming back here, I wouldn't be sitting here.
Now, when you say graduating, are you coordinating with some of the local colleges or local techs or anything for?
We're doing part of one of the goals that we focus on as a vocational goal. So people within the program are either going to school, employed, or seeking employment, or volunteering. And so absolutely, a lot of the veterans that we serve are increasing their education, and they're doing that locally.
Oh, fantastic. Some final thoughts? You want to close this out here? What?
Just to reiterate that if someone is just, still unsure, please call Harbor Homes. We open our doors to anybody who wants to do a tour. They can come through. If you call and just say, I saw the show and I'm not sure what I want to do, we'll talk you through it. I mean, there's any number of things you can do.
Is there a website?
There is, harborhomes.org.
.org. Just visit the website.
Absolutely.
You can volunteer, or if you're in need.
Yeah.
Is there a
Or
cycle?
go to the dinner.
I wanted to ask one other question. Is there a cycle? Is there a time of year, or is it all around?
All the time.
Yeah, people coming back at various different times. You see, it's funny, not funny, but you're driving down the highway and you see up on the bridge, welcome home, Sergeant, or welcome home, PFTC, or welcome home, and it's nice to see that somebody made it home. Let's hopefully continue that, that when they come home that they have something there.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So anyway, I thank you very much for coming
Thank you
on
so much.
Gate City
you.
Chronicles. And that's it for now. We want you to get involved. Check out Harbor Homes. If you have something to donate, please donate. June 6th, there's an event at the Crown Plaza, another way for you to financially help. If you're a business and you want to sponsor them, I'm sure they would love to take you on. Gate City Chronicles has been sponsored by Avard, the Dean of Clean, a local carpet cleaning here in Nashua, New Hampshire. You can contact them at 521-7657. Thank you.
The preceding program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.